video because I just recently entered the 1stphorm athlete search. 1stphorm is a supplement company that I'm absolutely obsessed with. I love them. I love everything that they stand for. Not only are their supplements top of the line, best supplements I've ever tried, but their community, what they believe in, what they stand for, is just something that I respect and value in my own personal life. So I thought, why not? This will be the third time I try, but third time might be the charm. I was introduced to 1stphorm by my wonderful friend Crystal Cantu, who's one of their athletes, and I just became instantaneously hooked. You know, I started off with the Opti Reds and the Opti Greens, and that just completely helped my gut issues. It helps with my hair, my skin, my nails, everything. I loved it. So then I stepped it up to the Formula 1 and Ignition for their recovery. That's what I take after my workouts. And I was hooked, not only by the taste, but my recovery had improved so much. My strength had increased, and it just felt so good. I loved it. I loved the product. And then now with my level 1 cinnamon cookie batter, I just can't have coffee without it. It allowed me to see the importance of maintaining that level of protein, especially when you're training so hard. I thought, why not? Let me make a quick video so not only they can get to know me, but you guys can get to know me as well and my journey and what I stand for, what I represent. And I think that has a lot to align with the fundamental beliefs that 1stphorm is all about. So diving right into it, my name again, Natalie Bieule, born and raised in Miami, Florida, 305. I come from a Hispanic family. My parents are Cuban descent. My family is everything to me. They are my anchor, my lighthouse. Thank you. They are my anchor, my lighthouse, everything. In 2001, we were faced with a really difficult challenge. I was involved in a car accident where it allowed me, I don't want to go back on that, because it allowed me to still be here, but just a leg short. And I'll never forget the day that I first got my prosthetic leg. You know, they were like, because I love to dance. I was a competitive dancer. I loved to dance back in my heydays, because I like to think that these are my glory days. With that being said, I was told, listen, there's a lot of things that you're not going to be able to do. You know, you're not going to do this. And I was like, hold up, no. You know, at the age of 18, I can honestly say I had to grow up real quick. You know, being from Miami, Florida, at the age of 18, missing a leg, having to deal with the looks, the stares, you know, no high heels, the shorts is going to look awkward. At the time I thought, now I look badass. But at the time I was like, oh my God. But also dealing with the fact that people are going to look at you and expect that you can't do certain things. People are going to look at you and automatically put limits on you. And I said it from that moment on, nobody's going to put limits on you. The only person that's going to put limits on you is yourself. And you're not going to put any limits on you. You're going to prove to yourself and to everybody else around you what you are capable of and what you are doing. And that's exactly what I did. I graduated from Barry University with a child psychology degree because I wanted to help children who have ever dealt with a setback, you know, that it's not about how hard you fall. It's about how quick you get back up. It's how you get back up from the setbacks that life throws at you that makes you a real champion. You know, I married the love of my life, my best friend, and I just got stuck in the 4th grade classroom. I absolutely fell in love with helping kids because I love their minds, the way they look at you, and they're like, oh my God, she's a robot. Yes, I am a robot. You know, Iron Man, that's my boy. But I just became instantly motivated to try to be a difference, to try to be a change. But it wasn't until I found out that I was pregnant with my first daughter where I really got insecure because I didn't want my daughter to look at me as, you know, wow, my mom's missing a leg. I wanted my daughter to look at me like, look what my mom's doing. You know, my mom's doing things that women with 2 legs don't even do. You know, and if mommy has no limits, I shouldn't have any limits. And that became my #1 driving force. I got heavily involved in CrossFit. I joined a box and CrossFit Siege in Miramar, and they welcomed me with open arms. They never viewed me as somebody disabled. You know, they viewed me as, you know, a person wanting to get better every day, and they pushed me for betterness. You know, they didn't say, oh, I don't think you could do that because you're missing a leg. They said, no, you're gonna do that because you're missing a leg. And I needed that at that time in my life. And it was a driving force to really accelerate a fire that had been burning inside of me that I didn't even know I had. And I just started competing. I started competing against able-bodied women, There was a CrossFit competition called Waterpalooza. It's one of the biggest CrossFit competitions down here in South Florida. I was the first adaptive athlete to ever compete, and out of 60 able-bodied women, I came in 12th. And I'm proud of that 12th, but I was top 6 throughout the entire competition. But that last workout, the swim, row, run WOD, brought me into the 12th place because I came in dead last in the running. Because what was limiting me and my capabilities was these mechanics, you know, and these guys aren't cheap. They're like $18,000, $22,000. So I went to an amputee coalition looking for some type of sponsorship, and I remember a guy there told me, you want a free leg, you gotta do something big. And I was like, okay. And in that very moment, that very day, God is great, I met 4-time gold medalist, Paralympic athlete, April Holmes. And she's like, we gotta get you on Team USA. At first I was like, what? I didn't believe it, but 2 days later I got a call from the head of track and field, Miss Kathy Sellers at the time. She was like, we need a discus thrower. Never throwing a discus in my life. I felt like this was the one chip that God was throwing at me, and I was gonna pounce on that. So she was like, pick up a discus, in 7 months is nationals. So that's exactly what I did. Mom, training, throwing, teaching. I worked my ass off. And 7 months later, I threw the American record, and I made national team. And it felt good, man. It felt real good because I was like, damn, you set out a big ass goal, and you managed to do that shit. Like, what can you not do? And that's when I really started like, Nat, let's go. Like, this is it. And I became part of a family, the Team USA family, a bunch of athletes that were driven, a bunch of athletes that were hungry to get better, and they honestly became my second family. And I was proud and honored to be part of something so big, bigger than myself, you know. And I came and found out that we were expecting our second daughter, Valentina, and she was due in March, and World Championships was in September. So I literally had to bounce back quick in order to make team for Worlds, and that's exactly what I did. All 9 months with a heart rate monitor, obviously. I trained, I threw. I did the CrossFit Open the day before I was scheduled for my cesarean, you know, but I didn't do toes to bars, I did knees to belly. But I trained my butt off, and I had a healthy baby girl. I was now a mom of 2. After that, every day with a baby monitor outside, throwing and training, I made World's team, and I took home bronze in Doha, Qatar that year, and it felt good. I qualified for Team USA Rio, the Paralympic Games, and after that, everything started coming at me like a cannonball. I got sponsored by Kellogg's. Became the first Paralympic athlete to be featured on their box with my girls in the back, because that is what got me started. That is my #1 motivation. And I love saying this story, but you know, my dreams were always to be a dancer and go to Broadway one day and, you know, be an actress. And they called me, Kellogg's called me one day and was like, listen, we have a new bar in Times Square. We would love for you to pass by and come see it. Come with your family. We were in New York for the Thanksgiving parade, and I was like, okay, I'll go. And when I got there, my box was featured in the front of the store. And my husband looked at me, he's like, babe, you made it to Broadway after all. Look over there. And the street side said Broadway. And it was like a full circle, full moment for me. You know, all those you can'ts, all those you won'ts, all those you're crazy. I proved to myself at that very moment, look what you did. You know, your life is by far, you know, better than it could have ever possibly been with 2 legs. And people ask me that all the time. Would you take your leg back if you could? No. Because I like the person that I became. I'm proud of the woman that I became. A leg short, made out of carbon fiber, but man, I'm a rough rider. And I don't think I would have ever been that way too. I don't know, but I don't think so. So going back to that, I got voted 25 most inspirational Latinas by People Español. You know, things were looking great. Things were looking wonderful. It was feeling good, but with every high, there comes a low. And I remember 2018, I went to Rio, got 5th in the world, didn't do as well as I wanted to do, but, you know, walking into that stadium surrounded by my Team USA family and hearing the athletes of the United States of America, it's an honor that I will take with me to the day I close my eyes, because coming from a Cuban descent family to have able to represent my family, represent my hard work at that very moment is just a moment that I will be forever proud of, and nobody can ever take away from me. But in 2018, I made the conscious decision to put that career on hold. I was needed at home. My daughter had surgery for her adenoids and her ears, and after that, she just went rogue on us. She stopped talking, the eye contact wasn't there, and I just needed to be home. Mom needed to be home, because as an athlete, you're traveling 3 to 4 weeks, going to training camp, the practices, training. It ain't easy. It's not easy. People are like, oh, you get paid to train. Man, it's a job. And being a mom plus an athlete, it's real hard, man. It's really, really hard. And I couldn't disconnect. I couldn't find that click to disconnect from being a mom to being an athlete. I applaud the women that can, but especially knowing that I needed to be home because my daughter needed me. Not only my oldest asked me to stay home, but my youngest needed me. She had a speech impediment, she had a speech delay, talks of her being on the spectrum, having autism, sensory process disorder, and all these came at me in full-fledged, and I honestly think that I blamed myself for a lot of it because I was like, leading up to Rio, I was absent. I blamed myself. It's that guilt that us moms carry. And I blamed myself because I was like, training to Rio, I wasn't there enough for her. I got my Rio, now it's time for me to be there for her. And that's exactly what I did. But in doing that, I let go of something that was mine, which was Team USA. And I fell into a pretty big depression because I felt like I was letting go of a family in a way. And it was really hard for me to just accept that I'm doing what needs to be done. And my friend Crystal, who's a 1stphorm athlete, she was like, come with me to Summer Smash. And I was like, all right, maybe I need this. And the moment that I met the 1stphorm family, I was like, wow, I want to be part of this. You saw a community of people supporting each other, uplifting each other, believing in each other. And I was just Crystal's friend, and they didn't treat me like that. They were like, hey, how are you? Meeting Stormy, Jenna, Johnny, and his wife Bree, and Gavin, and it was just an instant connection with all these athletes. Ty, I got to meet Jared Bond, the person who had given me and introduced me to 1stphorm supplements, and I got to meet Andy Frisella, who I just heard his voice through his podcast, and now seeing him in the flesh was like, holy shit. It was one of those moments, and it was just like, all right, you could belong to this. You could be part of this, because they represent a work ethic that is getting up, getting out there, crushing goals, and getting better every day. Every day is meant to be better than you were yesterday, and that's what I was about. And seeing these people, being part of that, seeing it, witnessing it firsthand, because I witnessed it through Crystal and all the stories that she would tell me, but seeing it was like, damn, this feels right, this feels good, and I just became hooked. I liked it. It brought back a sense of light back into my life. And I got home, I did the 75-day hard from Andy Frisella, and I proved to myself just exactly who I forgot I was. A hard-working, badass mother freaker, okay, to put it nicely. And I, again, 75 days without alcohol, drinking a gallon of water, reading a book, not watching TV and reading a book, all these things that at first I was like, man, I want to quit. But then I would tell myself, you've never been a quitter. You're going to quit at this? You didn't quit for Team USA, and I kept, it brought me back to life in a sense. It made me a better mother, made me a better wife, made me a better person overall. And that light that had dimmed in me was slowly catching back on fire. And I got back into the weight room, I started lifting, I started working my ass off, and I just became re-inspired. And I honestly think 1stphorm did that for me, and that's what they're about. And that's why I would love nothing more to be part of 1stphorm, because I love going out there. I do speaking engagements now where I go to schools, I talk to kids, I go to hospitals, I talk to people that are going through an amputation. I do coaching seminars to coach coaches how to coach adaptive athletes, and it's just spreading the word of being better than you were yesterday. And I think that that's what 1stphorm is all about, and that's what I'm about, you know, just getting, I don't know if it's so much being an inspiration, but if I made you get up, if I made you do something, if I made you move, then you know what, you're an inspiration too. You're my inspiration to continue doing what I'm doing. And, you know, the way they give back to the community is just something that I absolutely love. The 30 for kids, you know, how they go into low poverty-stricken countries and they help with food and supplies. And that's just something I've always wanted to do. You know, one of my biggest goals was to have a nonprofit organization to supply prosthetic legs for these underprivileged kids that don't have an opportunity to walk because they live in these poverty-stricken countries that they can't afford these prosthetics, you know, and the 30 for kids really was like, man, what if we take prosthetic legs to them, you know, get involved, give back. And 1stphorm is not one of these companies that just like buy, and buy our supplements, they give back. And I absolutely love them I love that about them. I love what each and every one of the athletes that I became friends with represent, how hard they work, how they strive to get better, you know. And one of my biggest goals is to always show my daughters, you know, look what my mom's doing. If my mom's doing it, then I can do it. And yeah, this is the third time that I try out for the 1stphorm athlete, but I'm gonna keep trying. And if I make it or if I don't care. I'm still proud. I'll be a proud Legionnaire, and I'll keep trying, and I'll keep taking their supplements, and I'll keep being, I'm still part of the family in a way, you know. I want to show my talents. I want to show my hardworking ethic. I want to compete and wear that 1stphorm. I've competed and wore the flag and the USA across my chest. Now I want to know what it feels like to compete, train, and work with the 1stphorm around my chest. So that's my story. That's who I am. And, you know, thank you for this opportunity, and let's see where it goes. That's it. Bye, guys.
Corazón no se acuerda más de ti. Llorarás y llorarás sin nadie que te consuele. Así te darás de cuenta que si te engañan duele. ¡Claro que sí!
Keep your arms and shoulders relaxed.